Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ma, I live in UK, and this is a channel about semi-hydroponics and houseplants. So I thought today to talk about nutrients. Well, I have a lot of nutrients on my table. You can't see them, obviously, but I will show them to you all, and we will talk about nutrients. I hope this will not be a very long video, but we will talk a bit about these nutrients and my experience only with these nutrients. So if you have a different experience, that's fine. I'm just telling you what I've experienced so far. So we all know that what is the importance of the pH in semi-hydroponics. It's the different rates of pH will allow the plant to take or not to take the nutrients from the water. All right. When I've started semi-hydroponics, I was using only this Miracle Grow. All right. I was using only this, but in really small concentration. This and Calmeg, this one. And my plants are doing fine. 2 years ago, I've started going and purchasing different nutrients to see if it's making any difference. So I got with this Formulex nutrient solution, gold liquid leaf, plant invigorator, and bug killer. This is recent. We will talk about each of them. This plant magic root stimulant, the cocoa thing A and B, and made me think all these nutrients, right, are designed for hydroponics. What is hydroponics? You have a big container of water, a big reservoir, right? You have an air pump, you have air stones, you have all sorts of things there. Water doesn't stay still, water moves. Roots are in the water, just the base of the plant is in leca. So are these good for semi-hydroponics? Are all these nutrients that are on the market are alright for semi-hydroponics? In my opinion, they're not. Or they are till a certain extent. All the indications that you'll have on the back, they are for hydroponic system. If you follow those indications and put as much nutrients that they are saying you have to, you will have a disaster on your hands. And why? Because plants that we have in semi-hydroponics, they have a small reservoir, right? So I will take something that is on hand here, my African violet. Look at the size of the reservoir. This is the water that she has in. It's just a tiny bit. If I will put in this water the amount that stated here, well, I will fry the roots, for sure. So when I hear those statements that semi-hydroponics or passive hydroponics cost a lot of money, I don't understand why. I have this tub, you see the level, right? For the last 3 years. This one is for the last 3 years, and look how much I took from it. It's not even a quarter from it. So don't get it. Why it's so expensive, the nutrients? They're not. Why I was using Miracle Grow and calcium and magnesium at the beginning? Because if you think about it, you have a small reservoir. The water will evaporate, or it will be taken by the plant in, I don't know, a week, let's say, depending again of your air circulation, of your temperature in the house. My washing machine is going again, is it? Yeah, sorry for that. So that water, it will not have a long life in this pot. The water in a hydroponic system has a long life. You need to adjust pH because pH needs to be between 5.5 and 6.5 in hydroponics. Here, if you start with the pH of 5, the pH will rise, obviously. But by the time that this pH will get to, I don't know, 7.5, let's say, the water will be gone. So why people keep, I don't know why they need to adjust the pH and something like that. You don't need to adjust it because fluctuation of the pH is important. And I will tell you why, and I have my absorption pH chart here that I'm looking at. So the calcium, if you have a pH of 6, the plant will not absorb the calcium, but it will absorb the magnesium, right? So after a pH of 6, the plant will start taking calcium from the water. So do you understand why the pH needs to fluctuate? Like the temperature, you can't keep a plant at 23 degrees constant temperature because at night plants are cooling down. They need a difference of a temperature. Like in the during the day, if it's 22, during the night it's all right to be 18 or 17 even, but not below that, obviously. That the plant needs a fluctuation of pH, of temperature, of I don't know, right? I'm not a chemist. I know the stuff that I'm talking about. I'm not good to explain them to you. So I will take, right. Let's take the recent one, gold leaf, right? Gold liquid gold leaf. It's saying that they have this thing will keep the EC and the pH stable. First of all, I'm happy for who is using this and it's working fine for them. I'm not saying anything about that. But in maybe in hydroponics, this is a stable EC, which I don't, or pH, which I don't see it either, because in hydroponics, the EC needs to fluctuate as well in order for the plant to take the nutrients that it needs. So a stable pH and EC, I don't see it possible. I tested all my nutrients in all sorts of conditions and the EC is never stable, the pH is never stable, which is a good thing. But if you follow their instruction and put 2 milliliters per liter of water in no more than 1 hour, the EC will double, which again, it will be a good thing if you are using rainwater or osmosis water with a low EC. When you are using tap water, which is filtered, it will still have a 700 EC or even more. And when that EC is doubling to 1400 for a baby plant, it's not good. That is why I'm saying these nutrients will last you forever, many, many years. Because on 1 liter of water, you can put 0.3 milliliters of this, and it will be more than enough. If that reservoir is small, right, the water will evaporate or will be taken by the plant before the AC and pH spikes too much to damage that plant. Now, if you have a bigger reservoir and the water is not evaporating so quickly, you might have a problem there, because not only the AC is rising, the pH is rising as well. This thing, and obviously I didn't took it with me, instead works really well for me to root the cuttings, and I will show you why. So let me pause for a second. My Monstera Dansoni, for some reason this guy didn't work so well. The roots were keep dying, so I put it in water. You see those? This guy was in water, and I can't put it back now obviously, so I will leave it here. This thing again was in water for the since January. All right, bought this in March, April, May, yeah, I think in May I bought this, and I put a drop in this jar with the first water. I do not exaggerate, but in 2 weeks time the roots started to come out, which she didn't do it for 2 months or 3 months while she was in water. She was all droopy and she was looking awful. And so think about it, this monstera didn't have any roots because I cut them all. So everything that you see here came out in 1 month, which, yeah, it's brilliant. Why? Because it has 9% nitrogen, 9%. Has a bit of calcium and magnesium, but it's a small amount. So I put just 1 drop in a full jar of water. It's not full anymore because I need to change the water as well, but only the first time. So because I'm not changing the water as much as I should, I've changed the water after 1 week, and I didn't put this anymore in there, but it started really strong. So from that point of view, this is good for rooting, in my opinion. Foliar spray. Again, I think this is a really concentrated stuff. I think this is a stuff for hydroponics, where you have water movement, where you have air stones, where you have water pumps. I don't think this is good for what we are doing, passive hydroponics. Or it's good, but in really tiny amounts, like, I don't know, a drop for a liter. That would make sense. It's actually 0.3 for a liter will work better, but a really tiny amount. Foliar spray as well, they are saying to dilute 0.5 milliliters per liter. I did that. Washing machine finished. I did that, but it's leaving a white residue behind, which I don't like it. If you have this, you'll see that it's a bit white, like milk white. So I don't like the residue behind it. Again, 0.5 milliliters per liter for foliar spray, way too much. Go for, I don't know, 0.1 per liter. I didn't see major improvement with my plants. I've used this for 6 weeks now. I heard all good things about it. Personally, I'm not a fan, but this will be only for my cuttings to root them. I think it's doing a bang on job on the cuttings. That's kind of it. Premium quality cocoa. We have 2 parts, A and B, that you need to mix separate, and they have loads of nutrients in them. I'll not go on the chemistry side because I think there are a lot of videos about that. I will just tell you what I'm using. They have a lot of nitrogen. They have a lot of copper, magnesium, not a lot of, just a bit from each one. But they're not too concentrated. But because they don't need to be, because they are for hydroponics, and for hydroponics you need to put 40 milliliters per 10 liters of water, which I can never use that quantity. So if I don't use that quantity, obviously the nutrients that I put in the water will be significant less than the ones that I will put in a hydroponic system, and I will put 40 milliliters because I will put only 1 milliliter per 10 liters or 2. That's kind of it. So, waste of money. Again, what else do we have here? Ah, this one, SB Plant Invigorator and Bug Killer. Sounds great. The label is great. Controls whitefly, aphids, spider mites, mealybugs, scale, mildew, not toxic, physical mode of action, foliar feed for strong growth. Sounds brilliant in theory. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, I had my aglaonema. That I don't have it with me, obviously. Prepared like always. But believe me, bugs are still there, and the leaves started dying. And it's weird enough because I've used it on my Hoyas just to invigorate, to see if they are invigorated by this. They're not. But I think it's working for plants that have a bit of thickness in the leaf. My aglaonema, it's really thin with white bits, and even if it's not a high concentrated solution, because I tested and has an EC of 180 something, so it's not a high concentrated solution, I don't have a clue what this has in it, because there is nothing to tell me what's in it. So I think it's good, not for pests. I don't know for what it's good. I'm sorry, I can't. I think it's good for nothing. There you go. The one that I use the most, it's Formulax, which is has a universal profile. I've started to use this before I bought everything else. It's good. It's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. This is one of the good ones. But again, it is designed for hydroponics. So by the time that you will get everything that's on the list here to the plant, it's not, you can't do it. You just can't do it. So that's a big pause for me to think what I need to say again. So I've decided to give up of all this. That's was a waste of money. The only things that I will not give up, it's the CalMag, which I can measure how much I'm putting in the water, and with the fluctuations of the pH, the plant will take calcium and magnesium in the same time with the fluctuation. And my Monstera, Miracle Grow, they worked fine for my orchids till my dog ate my orchids, but these two combined worked really well for me. And the same, I will start with the pH of 5, because by the time that the water will evaporate, the pH will get to 7 and not more, because it doesn't have the time to. If you have a big reservoir, like, I don't know, big, like, I don't know, because I actually don't have a big reservoir, even if I have a big pot. The thing that I will do with my plants that have a big reservoir, I will just water them just a bit on top around the plant, so to make sure that around the roots everything will have a bit of water and nutrients, but that's it. I'm not actually leaving water on the bottom of my plants, if that makes any sense. And I'm doing that with almost all of my plants. So, and it's working for me, because some of my plants, they don't even, I don't know which one to give you example. Let's see. This one. What's this one? It's my white wizard. Let's see. My white wizard. Look how much water he has in the bottom. Can you see? That's it. That's the water that he has on the bottom. And that's the water that it will stay there till it will evaporate. But even because it's opened, has an open, so it will evaporate through here and in the pot up. So I don't know, I will give her another 1 week or 2 weeks, and after that I'll put just a bit of water around it, and that's it. I'm not leaving a big reservoir. And usually the plastic pots, they have a rim, see? So actually the bottom of the pot is not even touching the water. This is working for me, guys. It doesn't mean that it's wrong or right, or this is what you have to do. This is working for me and my plant, all right? This blouse is driving me crazy. Okay, how to water the plant? I just told you. I have, let's take something else. Let's take, I don't know what to take. I have only African violets here. Let's take let's take transparent pot to show you better. Which is not actually a pot, it's a jar. I chew a star, right? Can you see the water? Can you see the roots? Big plants with big roots. Try to put 1/4 of the leca on the pot, or whatever you use. You can use whatever you want. And the water, I should take this out and lift the roots a bit, but the roots they are looking just fine, because they are water roots. They are getting used to the water. You don't necessarily have to pull out the plant, put the roots up on the leca, because they will go on the bottom anyway. That's why a big reservoir doesn't make any sense for any plant. Even if you have a big plant, it's enough to water them really well around, to water around the plant, and to throw away the water or use it for the next plant that it's coming out from the bottom, because it's enough. That, depending again of your weather, what the fuck is a weather? Of the weather. So if you live in a really hot climate and not wet climate and not humid climate, the plant will dry out in 2 days. So hydroponics, semi-hydroponics, sorry, it's not working well in a really hot climate. It's not, because small pots will dry really quickly and defies the purpose. But I don't know if that's the purpose of semi-hydroponics. For me, the purpose of semi-hydroponics is growth, because the growth is definitely bigger than in compost. And pests, not so much, because I have some pests already that I don't have a freaking clue what they are. But it's working really well for me, and it's not messy, and it doesn't actually require so much time. And if you don't, it's practical, because if you have a clear pot and you don't put it in direct light, you will not have algae. Obviously, you can see there is no algae here, because it's under a light that is not a natural sunlight. But I can see roots, I can see the level, I can see it, but even if I can't see it, like my painted lady, my moonlight here, doesn't have any water, for example, but he's fine, he's all right. And the fact that when you see a plant that it's droopy, because I have so many that I lose track of the watering. I don't have a watering schedule. If I see a plant is droopy, I said, right, you'll have some water, and that's it. So I'm rumbling and mumbling and jumping from a subject to another. Use whatever nutrients you want, guys. Use whatever you want, but be mindful that you don't have you have stale water. It is not going anywhere. Okay, you will not have it for a long time in the pot, which means that the water will not have the time to blow up EC and pH. So start with the low EC, not too low. Don't go at 4. Even the leca will rise the pH really quickly, but don't go so low, because first of all, it can kind of fry the roots or not if the plant likes an acidic environment, but that's another discussion. So use whatever you want. In my opinion, I know what I put in my water, and I can measure that through EC, because I measure the EC. So if my Miracle Grow has nitrogen 24%, which is from ammonia nitrogen, but it's still all right. Has some magnesium, but it's 0.05%, which is nothing. Some potassium of 13.3%, which is great. So what I need for my plants, it's a really high concentrated. So I will put in 5 liters of water, just a small scoop of 5 liters. I have this for the last 4 years, and I don't think it's, look. And I put it in the garden as well, not only for my houseplants. So not expensive. And after that, I'll measure the EC of the water. I use rainwater, so I will have a 8 or 10 EC. I will go with this till I will get to, let's say, maybe 80, and the rest, calcium and magnesium. And I know how much I'm putting in there, so I'm measuring everything. I know what the plant will take from the water. And again, the plants do not have too much time to take those nutrients, because the water is evaporating rather quickly. Even if it's a closed container, like a wait, oops, that was my watering can full of water. Even if it's a closed container like this one, right? I know that, I don't know if you can see, the water is something here. And because it's such a big container, it's a lot of leca in here, right? It's a big container. Even if the water is gone, I'll not water it for a week or 2, or maybe more, because the leca inside will be still wet. And because the roots are so low, leca till the half of the pot will be still wet after 2 or 3 weeks. This is the advantage with the big pot. The small pot, it will not do the same. It will dry out really quickly. So, right, I don't know what to put this. I hope I didn't ramble and mumble too much, and you did understand my point and what I want to say. There are a lot of things on the market. You can use whatever you want. Just take everything with a pinch of salt. Not everything is doing what they are saying that they are doing, and I've seen that. And even if a lot of people, they are saying that they have great results with some products, I don't. Maybe I'm doing something wrong and they are doing something right, but they don't share what they are doing right or what I'm doing wrong. But stay basic. Just go on Google, see what plant needs to grow properly, to develop. NPK, calcium and magnesium. I think it's more than enough for any plant if you put the right concentration. If you go overboard, you'll kill everything. But I've changed my mind. I will go for all of my plants because I don't have any mature plants. I have a few, but I'm going now because I'm using rainwater and I have the ability to do that. I will go now for 120, 130 EC. Not more. I think it's more than enough. This video will be fucking long. Sorry, I'm a lady. This video will be a long one. So please, if you think I'm wrong, please tell me. I don't mind. I'm learning all sorts of things from you as well. And I'm not an expert. I've told you this is my experience with my plants and what I'm doing and what is working for me in my environment, because all these chemicals are affected and their performance is affected about the environment as well, about the temperature, about the fluctuation in the temperature, about a lot of things. It's chemistry, people. It's chemistry. So if you don't have a good understanding of the chemistry part, I don't know. If you want me to go in the chemistry part and explain you with the ions, positives and negatives, that the plant take positive and replace the negative, I can explain you that, but I thought to keep it simple and short, and it's not freaking short at all because I like to talk by myself. But yeah, just tell me about your experience. I didn't have I tried to buy more nutrients to like to test them to see if I have different results or things like that. But I think as simple you go, as better results you will have. And stop spending your money on all sorts of things. They are a waste of money. Most of all, they are claiming to do things that they can't do them. Not for semi-hydroponics. I don't know about hydroponics. Maybe they are doing wonders in hydroponics. I don't know. I don't have anything in hydroponics. And I'm not planning to because I don't have the space or the money to invest in hydroponic systems. But this is working well for me. Miracle Grow, calcium and magnesium, whatever brand you want, because they are all the same, more or less. But they are all the same. And be careful at the pH of the water and the EC, sorry for moving the camera, and the EC that you put in the water. This is the basic thing that you need to keep in mind. pH, EC, they go together. The plants will respond really well in fluctuations of pH and EC if they are not too big. But again, you have a small reservoir, the water will evaporate before anything drastic will change in that water. So yeah, I think that's enough. Don't you think? It's enough. It's plenty. It's more than enough. So please share your experience with the nutrients that you use. I really love to see a different opinion, because the liquid gold leaf, for example, it was a really big hype everywhere about it, and I spoke with him. I've told him that the AC and the pH are not stable, but I can't argue with someone that it has a team of chemists behind them and they say basically I'm not right when I am. Anyway, doesn't matter. If it's working for you, use it. I don't have any problems with that, but use it in a really small amount, like everything. And think about it. If you use it in a really small amount, how much nutrients your plant will get. All right, so this is it for today. Whew, I have a headache. Please drop me your comments and your thoughts. I don't mind to be told off that I'm not right. I don't. I'm always learning something new. So see you in my next video, and I'm going for a coffee.